this is all they know. They know only technology. They weren't born before the technology didn't exist.
What can you build today that's going to have multiple verticals and can still market share a business from other, things that exist today that people are so accustomed to, but you're doing it in a different way.
Building without any constraint of the incumbent.
But if you have created your own new platform and you're starting it off from day one like this, you created the new expectation. It's there now.
I'm 1,000% in, and I wish I could be an investor, but more than that, I wish I could be the franchisee of his thing
Sure.
and just go all in,
Right.
put my technology to work.
Yes, they can in some cases, no, they can't in others. But in this case, if the tech is driving it all, it's 100% guaranteed.
It's going to have such a massive inflow of capital.
Yeah.
We're seeing that on AI. We're seeing billions and billions and billions of dollars getting invested in AI.
They know the risk, but they also know it could be the next big game changer, and so they're willing to take that risk.
I've said many times that there's going to be a handful of billionaires made in the restaurant space, and they're going to do that by mastering technology. Today, we're going to really drill into that. Just a few days ago, Tesla announced that they're doing their restaurant concept, but it's not really a restaurant. So it's a tech company who happens to be selling cars. It's also a tech company who happens to now be selling food. It's a restaurant. It's also a tech company who's sort of a movie theater. They've got two massive TVs or projector screens that is outside for you to sit and watch TV. And it's also a tech company who happens to be a gas station. They'll let you charge your car while you're there. So we're going to drill into this and have a conversation around where tech is going and what and how it's going to impact the restaurant industry. Kendall, have you seen the news?
I saw it this morning. Yeah, I saw your post.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put a LinkedIn post up on it this morning that saying the same things.
Yeah.
It's a tech company who happens to, and by the way, it's also a tech company who happens to be a taxi because they're rolling out that taxi stuff. So
yeah, it's very interesting, and it's not going to be the last. Rather, there's going to be more and more innovation on top of this. But I think it is proving that point out in terms of what can you build today that's going to have multiple verticals and can still market share a business from other, things that exist today that people are so accustomed to, but you're doing it in a different way that attracts people. It's going to generate interest. So many people are going to be going to that restaurant now in LA to see it, feel it, touch it, experience it, talk about it. And it's going to create the next expectation in that industry.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous inside.
Sure.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's round. The design outside looks super cool. It's super modern. It just looks gorgeous. And again, it's like a destination, not the restaurant. So I'm sure they're going to crush it on sales, but to be determined. Let's see. However, a lot of game-changing things, right? Tesla is just such a weird company because, again, tech company who's a taxi company, tech company who's also a restaurant, tech company who's a car company, tech company who's a robot company, and the list just goes on and on. And in the restaurant, they've got robots doing everything. I saw a video that the robot is just filling popcorns, and it just constantly is doing that. And it's going to have a massive impact on that labor.
Sure.
I feel like it's going to be such a profitable cash cow that no one will be able to compete with that.
Right. And especially the demand stays strong, right? So you have more upfront costs probably to build and to get all the tech and the robots and all that. But past that, the ongoing is going to be a lot less, at least from what it looks like. I don't know what maintenance looks like or what the other costs may be, but there's no human error, there's no problems, there's no issues that are going to occur day to day that you have to manage from a human standpoint.
Of course, they're not going to take a break. They're going to work. And by the way, the restaurant is 24/7, so it's open 24/7. The robots are working 24/7 there, and it's a burger joint essentially. So they do burgers, popcorn, and simple food, but still, like they're open 24/7. The robots are working 24/7. They're not going to take a break. They're not going to call in sick. You don't have to match their payroll tax. You don't have to give them healthcare options. Like all of that expense goes away. So if that, and yes, there's a huge upfront capital cost for specifically Tesla, but I think more and more of these companies are going to come up that, I mean, we've seen it in the restaurants. I think there's a one that's called Philippi that does only French fries, right? So you've seen it in the industry already. These are more human-like robots, but still, I think the adoption of that technology is going to have a massive impact on one of the biggest challenges of the restaurant industry,
Right.
labor cost.
Sure. It eliminates it, right?
Well, actually, I guess that it does. It eliminates it. Like it's no longer a challenge. It's
Yeah.
completely eliminated, and now you don't even have to worry about labor.
Right.
And again, it's just so darn reliable. Like the fact that it's gonna show up,
Sure.
it's not gonna call in sick. It's gonna do its job. It's gonna do it exactly the same way every single
Be
time.
consistent. Yeah.
A consistency, like, hey, that French fries in the thing, it's 4 minutes exactly to the second, right? Or the burger is gonna fill up every 25 seconds and two
Yeah.
flips, boom, done, on to the next station. I think the consistency and the experience is gonna go through the roof. And maybe that gives them more money to spend on maybe food costs, serve better food, or do something else, or spend it on the robots, or spend it on building this absolutely gorgeous multi-story roof deck, rooftop
Sure.
experience for the guests. But
Or at a movie theater.
or at a movie. Well, I
Which
mean,
they did.
is it a restaurant? Is it a movie theater? Is
Yeah,
it a gas station?
It-
What the heck is this?
What I like about it the most is it eliminates the topic of hospitality. So most of the fears out there today are, oh, this is going to eliminate the people side of the business, the interactions, the feel-good aspect of going out and dining in a restaurant, which I get that. All humans crave it. You need it to survive. It's out there. It exists. You can still get it elsewhere. But in this case, I like that they created a whole new environment where it's a fully open expectation now. The expectation is going to be formed off the experience versus if you switch over a restaurant today with the same infrastructure, you're going to have some challenges because there's already a built-in
course.
expectation. I don't know about this. Is this right for me? How do I manage this? It's a different world. But if you have created your own new platform and you're starting it off from day one like this, you created the new expectation. It's there now. And it can work because you have full control and it's your environment. You're not trying to plug it into existing environments that are already predetermined. Can that happen and will it happen in the future? Yes. But until that time, they have a chance to do this how they want to do it now. And so I'm
How's-
intrigued by that because it's two different verticals.
Yeah, I agreed. New versus old. The incumbents typically, I was talking to somebody else, and it's like, hey, we're doing this. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. He spent an hour. Super intelligent guy, and he's like, the incumbent is charging like $6 per exam, etc. We're going down to like $1.75. And by the time they wake up, it's going to be far too late because they've built their business model on $6.
Yeah.
I'm building my business model on $1.75.
Right.
So do you think they're going to lower their cost to $1.75? And I'm like, probably not. And
Right.
and by
Not built for it.
they're not built for it, and they're not going to realize it probably until it's late. Like, they're initially going to be like, they're not going to make it. A couple of years they're gone, but in a couple of years, if they grow and they crush it, it's like, all right, shoot, we got to adjust pricing.
Right.
And these guys are building without any constraint of the incumbents.
Yeah.
And I think also that resonated with me a lot in the restaurant space because the incumbents, the companies who have held a big, they've controlled the industry so tightly and they didn't allow the innovation in this space. I think now they're obviously paying for it.
Right.
So there's a lot of resemblance there where I think it's going to set a new expectation for the guests, and I think it's going to make things different. I don't know if
Sure.
it's going to make it easier or difficult, but what do you think the impact is going to be on the restaurant industry as a whole?
It's a
do you
whole-
think it's going to, what impact will it have?
Well, one, you now have a whole entire different experience to compete with. Right? Not to say it's going to replace the day-to-day needs of going through drive-thrus and going out for family dinners and all that, but it's another thing to think about. Right? Same thing we saw in like the entertainment industry or the Topgolfs of the world, right? All these different concepts that can still draw you in for the same occasion, but it's a different experience. This is now competing in that same exact category. It's a whole different experience, and yes, in some cases, it's going to override what they were going to do initially. We were going to go to our family, favorite family diner tonight. Now we're going to this new experience. So I think it's going to shift up the options. Now there's one location today, so it's not going to have a drastic impact.
Agreed, 1,000%.
But the idea is that it would over time, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because for years, basically since you've built an all-in-one platform, people have been saying, hey, we should not have all-in-one platforms. But now you look at it and more people are talking about all-in-one platforms again. And this is another example of becoming this all-in-one experience where you're taking all the core standard experiences of life, going to movies, having to fill your car with gas or charge your car, right? That experience, having to go to a restaurant, all those things are now in the same spot, an all-in-one.
Listen,
Right.
all in one, I've built my entire career based off of one simple concept,
Right.
all in one. I
Right.
started my first security company and it went from being a video surveillance company to like all in one low voltage provider.
Yeah.
You know, alarms, cameras, access control, TVs, music, like the whole freaking thing, right?
Right.
And that's where I started. And I realized quickly that people were more pleased with an all-in-one provider because it's just one person to deal with, one bill,
Exactly.
one like you. And I was making, I was able to do a better pricing because I combined it. So they saved money and the reliability went through the roof because they only had to trust one partner
Right.
instead of 7, right?
Right.
And then I got into what was next, like improving restaurants that didn't do, like we shut that down. That was a precursor of Milagro.
Sure.
But Vivant, same thing, started as a telephone company and now morphed into like an all-in-one managed connectivity provider.
Right.
Then Utilico, all-in-one business management platform.
Right.
I was dealing with the pain on a day-to-day basis. I couldn't grow the company because
Right.
I had 7, 8 different tools that I had to train staff, and I wasn't firing people because they weren't doing their job because I didn't want to train them on that. So,
Right.
and now Milagro with the all-in-one solution, and now you're seeing it on this side. Like
Sure.
I think, I don't know what it is with people just pushing back, but it just makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much more convenient. It's less headache to deal with, no integrations, all of that. But I've changed my strategy and my tone on that. And I'm saying now, if you're less than like 25 units, all-in-one is the only way you should go. Like you shouldn't
Sure.
even consider anything else because you don't have the need, you don't have the
Right.
tech people to manage it, etc. But and then once you graduate and you get to like 50 units and you got to have a blue color instead of a red color, then go into a best-in-breed
Right.
tool, etc. But I think the all-in-one is gonna have a huge impact on the next generation.
It'll
And then
catch on.
I think on the because you're seeing that, right? Imagine you've got a tech company who's like disrupted like 4 or 5 different industries. Like the car company, what Tesla has done, no one has really done. Nobody actually has done it since Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Nobody has. A lot of smaller like car companies have gotten in, but nobody has done it to that scale.
Right. Right.
No one since Henry Ford. So it's a very brutally tough industry to build that in. And now, again, you did that with solar, now with this one, you know, getting into this stuff. I think that technology-driven companies are going to make a huge impact.
Right.
And more importantly, I think the vertically integrated tech companies.
Right. Right. Yeah, because now the question is, what are you really building? Are you going to?
Are you building a restaurant or are you building a
tech
tech company? That's a good.
Yeah.
I've said 1,000 times, and I say it again. It doesn't matter what line of business you're in.
Right.
You have to be a tech company who happens to be a taxi,
Yeah.
Uber.
Right.
You have to be a tech company who delivers food, DoorDash, right? You have to be a tech company that does X. And whatever that X is irrelevant. It's you're gonna have to build the technology around it.
Right.
Which actually brings me to another topic. Y Combinator, I was watching one of their, if you don't know what Y Combinator is, it's one of the startup incubators, one of the most successful. They've grown very successful companies.
Yeah.
DoorDash, Uber. I don't know if actually Uber is on there, but DoorDash for sure. Airbnb, a lot of big names in their portfolio where they went through the incubator, they exited out, and they became wildly successful. Now they've got thousands of failures, but
Right.
the winners pay for all the losses over there. However, one of their managing partners was talking and saying, in short, he was saying people are not going to understand the power of the technology. So instead of building technology for an attorney and trying to sell it to them when they don't understand the value, they're not going to adapt. It's very challenging, difficult for that change for them. Why don't you build the technology instead of selling it to the attorney, open a law firm
Right.
and become a law firm?
That people plug into your technology who want it and need it. And
Well, not even that.
you're
Just
leading
run
it.
the law firm yourself.
Right. Right.
Hire your own attorneys and build a vertically integrated solution.
Right.
Build a tech company for the restaurants, start opening restaurants and run and manage your own restaurants because you're a tech company who happens to be in a restaurant space, right?
Sure,
Or
sure.
you're a tech company who happens to be, and by the way, they're funding these. They're openly saying, if you are building a tech stack, an all-in-one solution, and you want to go in the market, replace the incumbents, and then become that thing,
Yeah.
we want to fund you. We want to
It's
talk to you.
attractive. They know the risk, but they also know it could be the next big game changer, and so they're willing to take that risk.
Of course, and
Yeah.
like technology is gonna 10x everything. Like the chances and the odds of success become so much more. Obviously, they're expecting like multi-billion-dollar exits
Right,
out of these companies. And again, if you have the technology, it just makes sense to vertically integrate and go into this space and just own and dominate it.
Right.
And then you don't have any of the baggage. You don't have any of the constraints that a typical normal business has in that space.
Right.
So, for example, if I'm a restaurant, I don't have to worry about, I could build a Tesla restaurant, whatever they built, and not have to deal with any of the normalcy of any normal, typical restaurant.
Right, right. Yeah, you get the upper hand, and you can make more decisions faster and have more of an impact, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think this Y Combinator, I think it's going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be a major disruptor because it's going to have such a massive inflow of capital.
Yeah.
We're seeing that on AI. We're seeing billions and billions and billions of dollars getting invested in AI. Like these guys are not even going after normal companies anymore that could get to 100 million. Now, before it's like, hey, how do you, shortest path and shortest guide to the 100 million is who we fund.
Right.
Now it's like, hey, you gotta, like 100 million was yesterday, you gotta go beyond that. And you can't do it with building a 500 person company.
Right. Yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah, those days are absolutely gone. And I think if tech focuses on the restaurant industry and a few people, players that are well funded, come into this space, run, build, manage their own tech stack that is built specifically for them,
Yeah.
and start buying 5-10 unit restaurants that are already successful in a way,
Sure.
and power them with that tech.
Yeah. But then the question becomes, are you now the new tech vendor? So are you going to be licensing out that software to other companies to then leverage, or just repeats the cycle though?
But why do that when you can
Right.
own and manage your own restaurants that crushes it, that you
Right.
that's your proprietary technology?
Sure. And so instead of allowing that, you just go after simply owning whatever brands, and that's
I'm putting it out there. Why not?
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
either way.
imagine you have your own proprietary technology,
Yep.
you own the tech, you own the restaurant.
Right.
Anything you want done, you go back to the tech, you
Right.
write it, you adopt it, and you come in and
Sure.
you know, restaurants are
Fully
still
molded to that brand. Yeah.
absolutely to your brands, right?
Right.
Not brands.
Right.
You could buy 10 restaurant chains and then go in, put it in, fine tune it,
Sure.
5 units each, start franchising the hell out of it.
Right.
And again, that's how you.
All consolidated.
I think I underestimated the number of billionaires in the restaurant industry by end
Yeah.
of the decade.
Yeah.
I think instead of a handful, you're going to have way more than that. And
Sure.
it's going to be tech companies.
It's going to be either solving a common problem or solving a problem that nobody thought about. Like nobody thought about solving taxis. No one said taxis were broken, but someone found a better idea to solve a problem that ended up actually existing, right? So same thing here.
Yeah, 1,000%.
May not be able to see it yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And then it becomes distribution, and it becomes, you know, like DoorDash already has all the customers.
Right.
Now it's like, hey, are they going to build an entire tech stack around it? They have the money, they have the resources,
Sure.
you know. But then I don't know if like it's a much bigger company to make those changes. But actually, founder of Uber, Travis, has started a food company as well that they do an entirely automated system, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like Sweet Greens, but actually delivered. Like Sweet Greens were promising, hey, we're going to have this whole entire
Right.
food line that food moves through, and it knows exactly how much to put in there. It knows exactly what the ingredients are, what bowl to make, package it, set it out, and DoorDash will come pick it up, and
Right.
boom. Travis is actually doing that now. So he's got this
Interesting.
freaking, you know, I don't know, 70, 80-foot machine that
Yeah.
measures and puts the whole thing, makes the dish,
Automated, consistent, guaranteed. Yeah.
pushes it right out, and then you got a delivery company that comes, picks up the food, and again, these tech things are going to, I think it's going to have a massive impact on takeout,
Right.
on QSR.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to impact like table service, because that's, I think, a different vibe. It's going to have some sort of an impact, especially I think in the back office.
Sure.
But maybe on the front side, the front of the house, it's not going to have a big impact. But I think on the back office,
Yeah.
like on the back side, back of the house, it's going to have a drastic change with robots.
Yeah.
You know,
And the industry's been working on the tech for years, right? Every NRA show
Has it?
working on. Every NRA show you see
Well,
the
define
idea of
working on. Tell me
robot,
more.
right? There's a sample robot or a sample automated machine that's supposed to achieve something, make a burger, serve drinks, whatever it is. We've never actually seen it. Now, I've personally seen it like in Dubai and places like that, but I've never seen it exist yet in our industry, right, in the States. And it's been teased forever, right? There's always been talk about robots, and every year you hear somebody talk about how robots are coming, it's going to change the labor game. No one's actually done it successfully.
Yeah.
But now something like this comes out, it's literally the idea that everyone's been talking about operating in real life. And I think in the article too, it said there's plans to do more. It's not the
of
only
course,
one.
yeah.
And so if those start popping up all over a major city, that is major competition. And you can't necessarily compete with that. You can't just go add robots and think it's going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So how are you going to now stand out in a new environment when you're competing with something fully well thought out and funded?
Well, actually, go back to the all-in-one solution.
Yeah.
You're just a restaurant.
Yeah.
The all-in-one's going to win. Let's make it easier. Let's give an example. I was telling this to somebody. I'm like, hey, do you go to the meat market, buy your meat, and then go to the vegetable market, buy your vegetables, go to the bread guy, buy your bread every day when you want to shop for groceries? Of course not. You go to the grocery store, you buy everything in one.
Right.
So if you're a restaurant and you just sell food, well, why should I come to you when I can go to a Tesla one? I can charge my car.
Right.
I can eat. I can also watch a movie there while I'm there. Or I could be on a rooftop enjoying this massive freaking screen that's there.
Charging my car while I'm waiting.
I
Yeah.
do it all in one.
Yeah.
Do it all in one.
Right. Right.
I think the impact, again, to be determined, but
Sure.
I don't think I would bet a single dollar against Elon Musk. The odds of... The odds of him failing is so minimal that
Right.
I don't think anybody is gonna. Everybody says don't ever short him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever short him, because he'll pull these things out of nowhere and he'll make things happen. And he's done it several times. Again, the car company, SpaceX, like Twitter or X was a major. Everybody thought, hey, it's going to be a major problem, and now look at it now.
The one thing that I am interested to see if it does what I think it's going to do is the restaurant industry. Obviously, we love it. We lived in it. It's our industry. But it's normally been slower to adapt. Right, we've always had these comparisons, whether it's the CDP conversation or it is the all-in-one conversation, whatever the conversation is, it's always slow to adapt and slower to change in comparison to other verticals, whether that's hotels or any other comparison. In this case, this conversation's been going on for years, but now that somebody's actually doing it, I'm wondering if it will expedite.
It'll force adoption.
Out of being forced to, or again, the expectations rising, but it might increase that speed because now someone can actually say there's a real life example. It's no longer a demo at a show that I see once a year. It's operating every single day, 24 hours a day in my neighborhood. This is now a problem. I need to pay more attention.
Yeah. And actually, I was saying, I read this thing that said people change in 3 ways. If they've seen enough that they're inspired to.
Right.
If they've heard enough that they have to, or if they're educated enough that they want to, right? So I'm wondering if it's going to fall in that, hey, now the fear is real.
Sure.
Because if I don't do this, I'm sure it's probably going to have the most negative impact of it will probably be on potentially smaller brands that are
100%.
on that.
Yeah. Lack of
or
funds.
the mom and pops that just don't have the money, they don't have the resources, they don't have the manpower, they don't have the technology people in house to do that. And by the way, even for me, that's scary.
Right.
I'm in this, and I'm like, holy smoke! How do I compete with this freaking kid that's teenager in a garage? That has done what I have done, and it's taken me a decade to do.
Sure.
This guy's doing it in 2 years.
And there's probably 100 others doing the exact same thing as well at the same time.
Agreed. And he's done it. And what's most impressive, they're pulling the volume, they're getting the distribution, they're delivering the products, and they're doing it with 20% of the workforce. Right? Like, I've got 100 people that I've got that are working on these things, and then this kid is doing it with 20 people,
Right.
and the
Leveraging
revenues is
AI
the
and
same.
this,
And yeah, of
Yeah.
course, like
Yeah.
it's becoming scary, and I feel bad for the industries that just haven't been able to catch up with that. And
Right.
I think it's going to be such a small, gradual change that eventually, by the time that you realize, it's like, oh wow, I gotta bow out,
Right.
and I gotta find something else to do. So
One interesting thought is if that technology, let's say it's not Tesla, but let's say it's somebody else who does something similar, right? That's like, that could be the next evolution of ghost kitchens. Where now,
well, Travis Kalanick is doing exactly that. It's the
so
ghost kitchen.
I can essentially allow you to operate my brand as a licensee or whatever, but now this highly automated tech is the distribution for my brand, but I have guaranteed consistency. Right now, some people talk bad about ghost kitchens because of the lack of a consistency. They have a lot of brands to train on and remember. Can they really do it? Yes, they can in some cases. No, they can't in others. But in this case, if the tech is driving it all, it's 100% guaranteed. Maybe I would trust that more than the human error that comes with me trying to allow another person to do it.
Hey, even me outside, I would mortgage the house and put it in that company.
Yeah.
I would mortgage everything that I have, and I would go all in with Travis and say, hey, listen, I don't have to hire employees. I don't have to do any of that. Like I could probably run the whole thing with maybe 1 or 2 employees, and it's fully automated.
Sure.
And I've listened to him several times on several different podcasts talking about how he's doing it and the vision. He's done it with Uber, and I think he's on to something really big, because and his points are very valid, right? It's like it's whether it's Mexican or whatever else, like the ingredients are the same. You've got chicken, you've got vegetables, yada yada yada, right? You could make a pizza with it, or you could make a taco with it, or you could make whatever pasta with it.
Right. It's all programmed and figured out.
And it just goes right through the line, and it's fully automated. And you've got this 70, 80 feet machine that bowl goes in on one side, or the pizza goes in, the dough goes in, etc. On the other side, it comes out fully ready, and then all you're doing is just the delivery part of it. And I think it may come back to, now that I think about it, it's just going to be an acquisition game.
Sure.
Which is probably the number one problem everywhere, except potentially the restaurant space.
Right.
So it may create such a massive upside, because acquisition in restaurants is typically easier. Retention is not. Not a lot of restaurants are doing retention, but what Travis is doing is he's solving the entire freaking puzzle.
Sure.
He's getting the guests acquired. Yeah, all in one. He owns the kitchen. He owns the technology.
Yeah.
He's automatically reaching out to you. He's making other recommendations, and he's going to crush the marketing side. So his LTV on a customer is going to be 10 times a normal, 100 times a normal restaurant, because a typical restaurant will not even consider the normal retention tactics.
Right.
So he's going to sell you burgers today, pizza tomorrow, and a chicken sandwich on Thursday.
Sure.
And he gets 3 visits out of you in 1 week.
Right. Right.
Right.
Which is hard to do for any restaurant.
Which is impossible to do for any restaurant. How do you do that? How do you get 3 visits out of a single customer every single freaking week? People have to eat. They're going to go out. They're going to order. They're going to order in, etc. So if they're going to do that, why not? Like, again, his idea, I'm 1,000% in, and I wish I could be an investor. But more than that, I wish I could be the franchisee of his thing and just go all in, put my technology to work, buy the restaurant concept, whatever that is, the burger, the chicken sandwich, and the pizza shore, and just put it in a major market and centrally located. He's working a deal with Uber to have the delivery stuff taken care of. So now it's
all built in. Yeah.
It's all built in.
Yeah.
It's going to be a major shift.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah. And the next generation, they're going to be, who was it that I was talking to? It's like, hey, you got to go find somebody who this is all they know. They know only technology. They weren't born before the technology didn't exist.
Different leadership, so different expectations. Yeah. Yeah,
like the 1995, 2000s, like everybody after 2000, that they don't know a phone book. They don't know. They don't know all these different things. And I think they're going to crush it because they're born in this era.
Right.
And the incumbents are going to be...
You're going to see things differently.
They're gonna have to see things differently. But I'm curious to see who's gonna adapt,
Right.
and who's gonna resist it and say, oh no, that's not a big deal, and underestimate it.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
Amazing.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. Love talking about this stuff, but we'll see in the next year and a half, see what Tesla is going to do, and see which technology companies are going to adapt, and what's going to happen in the restaurant landscape. It'll be a thrill to watch it in the next couple of years and see how these technology companies are going to come in the industry, and they're going to challenge the status quo, and they're going to challenge every single thing that's done in a restaurant space in order to maximize their outcome, their return on investment. If you're a restaurant and you operate at least about 5 units and you're doing about $1 million in revenue per location, and if you're trying to figure out how to leverage technology, how to adapt to this new era with Tesla coming in and with all of these tech companies rolling in and changing the landscape in the restaurant industry, we want to talk to you. We want to enable you with all the technology that we have built around the restaurant industry. We want to make financial investments in some brands and enable them to do exactly what these guys are doing and become that tech marketing leg to your restaurant brand. We're looking for proven models, proven restaurants, great operators, the ones that are just missing the IT side, the marketing, the technology, and we want to enable you and empower you to be able to compete with these guys and crush it. Let's do that together. Let's crush it together. Get a hold of us, go to our website, and contact us to learn more. Thank you, guys.